And that Lombardi was a mic drop, right? It was a mic drop moment for the big guy, a 16-year NFL veteran playing offensive tackle for the Bengals and the Rams, a Super Bowl champion, and now big-time analyst with Amazon Prime's Thursday Night Football coverage. And my favorite thing, a Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, of course, from back in 2021. Andrew Whitworth, happy 2023 season.
Happy 2023. We're back, baby. Let's go.
Let's go is right. And I know that you haven't had to work yet. That's next Thursday. I can't wait to hear all about it and like any of the cool things going on with Amazon. But I mean, we have to dig into last night. The Lions upsetting the Chiefs. Sure, no Chris Jones, no Travis Kelce. Who do you think that they missed more? Like whose presence was missed more of those two?
Well, I think obviously, just looking from last night, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, you see again why he is so special. And I don't know what they'd be without him because it seemed like he was almost out there playing by himself a little bit last night. I think obviously he missed his guy, Batman and Robin, man. And so you could see the emotion in Travis's face not being out there. I'm sure as soon as he's back, those two are going to be real happy. But, I think that team's going to be fine. We got to remember they won the Super Bowl last year. They lost to the Colts and went to overtime with the Texans. Like they're kind of one of those teams that they just have games sometimes where they're just a little off.
Do you buy into what Mahomes is saying? Of course, we're not going to hit panic mode, but how much should I, as a fan, believe what he's saying when he says it's good? It's good for these young guys to have this happen right now. What's the truth in that?
I think that's the scariest part of really good football teams is that those little setbacks aren't like jaw-dropping moments and, oh, man, everybody panic. They know how good they are, and they realize, hey, this was just a night where we didn't execute the way we should. We dropped balls. We probably up front didn't play as well they expected. But we're fine. We're the Super Bowl champs. We got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and hopefully Chris Jones soon. And we're going to be right there in it at the end. And I think they truly believe that because you look at them, they have had some of these games where they've played teams that not that Detroit didn't play great last night, and I don't think it's this situation, but they've lost some really ugly games in the past years and still shown up and been in the AFC Championship and made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was joking. Travis Kelce should just roll into Veach's office and kick his feet up and say, want to add a zero to my paycheck there, buddy? But they'll work it out.
Doubt.
Kadarius Toney didn't have a training camp either. Like, he's a raw player. Like, there's something to that, and there's a lot to ask against the Lions, but we shouldn't take it away from the Lions. Like, my YouTube chat right now is like, say the Lions crushed it, they deserve to win. But before we get to even their side of it, I mean, there's drama online about this offensive line play, and you're the perfect person to ask. So it looks like the Chiefs' right tackle, Juwan Taylor, he was, real comfortable, leaving a little early while also being lined up too far in the backfield. The refs called nothing. Do you have a problem with what Juwan was doing?
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's funny just seeing O-line, D-line guys going at each other about this topic. I think, to me, the far back thing is probably more the issue. I think sometimes in these settings, they're going to miss you leaving a little early. They just are. And it's not whether it's right or wrong. It's just, as a ref, it's hard to tell who moves where sometimes when that ball moves and there's so much going on. And so I think that's a tougher one. But how far back he was, I felt like that was something in my career. Those guys on the sidelines, those sideline judges were constantly in your ear about scooting up and hammering you about how close you needed to be to the line of scrimmage. And so I think that to me was more the glaring issue that really made it stick out. If he was up on the line of scrimmage in what would look like a normal position, I don't think people would have jumped all over how early he was leaving. I think it had a lot more to do with, he was almost in the backfield in a couple of those.
It was wild.
And leaving early.
But it was, I think for me, the issue was it was like every play. Like, it was like.
Every play.
I was just like, why?
It wasn't a couple times.
Yeah, what? But it also, didn't help them win the game. So there wasn't quite an advantage. Like, let's all leave that alone.
I don't think that's the performance that they were hoping from that group this year. You obviously lost some guys in Orlando Brown, being the biggest name there, and replaced your right tackle and left tackle this year. And I don't think that was probably the level of play they were hoping to get out of those two guys. But it's also new system now with Mahomes, a little bit of the style of Andy Reid. I think we have to give them that grace period, a little bit of play together. There is some change there up front for the Chiefs, and it may take a couple games for them to feel better.
Kadarius Toney apparently deleted his Twitter this morning.
That's a smart move. I think that, some of those things, you can allow them to create it to linger, and that's the problem. It's like You got to learn. Everybody's used to it now. Social media, you're going to get crushed as a player. You know it. As an offensive lineman, shoot, it's the only thing you probably get, right? You're not going to get a lot of praise.
No.
So the only chance you got is to mess up and somebody hammer you on social media. So I think just shutting it off for a little while and saying, hey, I don't want to hear any of that. I just want to go back to work, keep telling myself who I am and what I'm confident in. I think that's smart.
Now, the Lions side of things, I mean, they've been the sexy pick all offseason, as we know, in the NFC North and even beyond. Kelvin Johnson, I've had, everybody's told me how far they're going to go. Their defense worried me. They showed up last night and looked great. Are you a believer in Detroit?
I am a believer in Detroit. I thought they played great. I thought the one thing that was a little confusing for me, and I think it's something that will easily get fixed in the coming weeks, is I think they had to maybe adjust to what they thought Steve Spagnuolo would do with Chris Jones out. I thought he did a great job calling the game and giving them some confusing looks at times. And so I thought at times watching them in the run game, I've seen them look much sharper. I thought that they were kind of on the wrong guys a couple of times. You can see some hesitation where they don't know who they have, little confusion up front, even with the tight ends involved on a couple of those runs early in the game. And that's a team, they're going to lean on their running game because, as we've all said, I thought it was impressive. Jared Goff looked better throwing in the pocket last night, but they're going to be built off running it and throwing play actions. And so they got to run the football well to be able to do that.
I mean, my only comment would be play Gibbs more, please. Please?
Yeah.
He looked so good.
He did. He looks great. And I think you look at that line, that's what they can do. I mean, every week they should have an advantage when they walk into a game. I don't care who they're playing, in the sense that even the best D-line they face, they've got the guys to go toe-to-toe with them, if not have the advantage. And so that's what they've got to be built on, but they got to clean it up a little bit. There were some plays there where the centers and the guards are kind of going to the same people, a couple where the tight end thinks he has somebody and the receiver's blocking them. It just wasn't as clean as I expected them to be as a group that you see returning and really going to lead this offense. It wasn't as clean as I would have hoped them to be.
Chris Jones was at the game. NBC showed him out in the sand. And I was, I'm looking at you right now, and I'm like, if this was the Amazon game, you would like found your way into that suite, bounced one of those Tony Sopranos next to him, and hung out with him. That was sort of wild for me to watch. But like, if that was you in that hoodie and blazer would have been dapping him up.
Dapping him up. We'd have had a Smirnoff vodka soda or something, we'd have been hanging out. But yeah, there's no doubt. I thought that was unbelievable. It's awesome to me because I was trying to think to myself, like in any of those times in my career, like to be able to just sit there at the game in a suite in that kind of situation, hilarious. I mean, a total boss move. I loved it. I for sure would have been sitting with him if that was an Amazon game.
I know. I'm literally thinking that. Let's make some. Look, there's a seat right back there waiting for you with his bouncers next to him, who are apparently his agents, but they're also like, I don't know, making people swim with the fishies. Okay, Burrow.
Yeah, color-coded.
Yeah. Let's go to Burrow here. He got paid. I'm sure you're happy. You are a Bengals legend. Last year, we flirted with the idea of you going back to protect Burrow. And by flirting, I mean I created and enforced that narrative on you for weeks. Have they done enough, Andrew, with the O-line? Is this a top 3 O-line?
I don't know if it's top 3, but I'll say this. If you look at really when you evaluate the Bengals every year and say what you think they are, you could easily say last year, Joe Burrow has the football and he's maybe a right tackle or a certain level of offensive line from going down and winning the game against the Chiefs in 2 consecutive drives at the end of that game and going to the Super Bowl himself. And I look at this line this year, and if you take that from that team, this is the best offensive line he'll have had since he's been a Cincinnati Bengal, and it ain't close. So I'm just going to say it. I'm hammering Bengals all year.
Me too.
I think they're going, man. I think this is their time. I said it the other night. Look, it's Vegas. Things come in threes in Vegas, Kay. You want to hit that slot machine. You want to see 3 7s, but in this case, third time's the charm. Cincinnati Bengals, 49ers, Super Bowl 16, Super Bowl 23. They lost. Joe Montana, dang it. But this time there's a different Joe, and he's on the other side. I think it's Niners, Bengals, and the Bengals win.
I think I did all my predictions, and they were my last one. It just feels set up for that. Him even saying yesterday that I feel the healthiest I've felt going into a season. Chris Collinsworth came on and he said, we've never had that. Then the injury happened, but still, just it all is set up. I got to talk to Orlando Brown. I know the Chiefs, like whatever fans, whatever they thought of him or what they didn't think of him, but I think they're set for success. And it's a big game this week against the Browns. Because, a lot of people are picking the Browns in this one because of Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett historically has given Burrow a really tough time. If you look at the numbers here, hopefully they get their win here, but this offensive line really has to come to play, Andrew.
Yeah, this will probably be one of their more challenging games. And the reason is Myles Garrett's a great pocket rusher. I mean, like if you're a pocket quarterback, he's a pretty rhythm guy in the sense that he's a great talent, but that's what he's really special at is these drop back quarterbacks. And so I think that, this definitely is going to be one of the bigger challenges for this group. And I think that's why Cleveland has given Cincinnati so much trouble. You go look at the last 3 years, really since Joe Burrow's been there, it's very similar Niners-Rams dominance. I mean, the Browns have really beat up on the Bengals in a lot of these games because of this situation. But I think, like I said, this is a better group. And whatever people want to say about Orlando and those things, but you got to look at what Joe Burrow has played with and how his lines have been since he's been there. It ain't close. Watching Jonah Williams in the preseason, a guy I've gotten to talk to over the preseason, I thought he looked great in his transition to right tackle. I'm excited to see what he looks like. Alex Kappa's back. You got Teddy in the middle. I mean, the energy bus, and they really are excited about Bolson. So I think the left guard, they're excited about him and his progress he's made since being playing a whole year as a rookie. I love this group. I think they're going to be one of those that as the year goes, we're going to go, man, this Cincinnati Bengals O-line is pretty good.
That's all I have to say. That would just be insane. And then down the stretch, somehow you can rejoin them, and it'll be January, and we're right back to where we started.
And you look at it, K2, on defense. Sometimes just like when you lose people and you gain guys who have to play because of it, it makes your team even better. And I look at that with Cam Taylor-Britt and Awuzie going down last year. Cam Taylor had to step up and be the guy. And then now Awuzie is going to be back, and hopefully he's healthy. And now you got two corners have been in that opportunity. And what is Lou going to be able to do with that? So I'm really excited about their team.
Same. Everything you just said, cosign, cannot wait to get this out onto Twitter because people, and the Ravens are stacked and people were sleeping on the Steelers and then they somehow turned it around and became a more exciting pick down the stretch for people. But Coach Lou, Awuzie, I got to see him up close and personal when I was there at training camp. The vibes seem to be really high. And so, I love Cincy and I'd love for you to be there. You're close with the Rams too because you spent some time, I think, this offseason. We're going to get to Micah Parsons, though, before that. You guys worked out together. So let's talk a little Cowboys. Big game against the Giants on Sunday night, of course. But, we hear he's going to be playing exclusively on the edge this year. So I think we have some of your workout video here. But what does it mean, this move? And what's like a new ceiling for Micah?
Man, I don't know the ceiling yet for him. I think what's really fun about him is that as much success as he's had, he's not looking to just get better. He's looking to sacrifice things. He's always talking to me about what's the 1% that I can give up, and the 1% better may come from things I give up. It may come from things I work on, and he is ready to take whatever chance, whatever work ethic, whatever sacrifice it is to find a way to be better. And I think that makes him really rare with his talent and ability. And it's been a lot of fun to work with him and just get occasional texts of, hey, break this down for me or show me why this tackle's good. And, it's fun, man. He is hungry. And to me, as a young, talented athlete, that kind of hunger, I can't wait. He's my favorite for defensive MVP.
Wow.
He's looked great in camp. I can't wait to see him play this year.
Poor Daniel Jones, friend of the show. Whoops, that's not going to be fun on Sunday night. Now, you're still very close with your Rams. You win the Super Bowl with them. You call preseason games. And I hear you had the rookies over for a little food, a little barbecue action. What did you grill up for these guys?
Man, we had my close friends, the H Wood group, brought Slab over and, their Slab barbecue place. And I had all, I don't know, at that time, I think it was like 40-something rookies at my house. It was a lot of rookies. So me and Melissa hosted them with the kids and everything else. They were playing basketball and having a good time. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward. Monday Night Football, baby. Rams at Bengals. Chad Johnson going in the ring. I can't wait. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And there's a lot of great games. The Rams having them over there, it's nice to have a nice moment, but the team's looking I'm a little worried here with the Cooper Kupp hammy news. It's not looking great. Is there a way that McVay and Stafford can go into Seattle and pull off an upset?
I think that there is, because you look at last year, look at their Seattle games and the injuries they had, they were right there. I mean, they had to have made some late drives in the games to win the game. And so I think they play Seattle well for whatever reason we always have. And I think this game has a chance to be closer than people think. And I'm excited to see them play, because I think what's fun about this group is they are really young. A lot of inexperience, but they are hungry and energetic. And you go to a practice, I mean, they're screaming and hollering. Every time a guy makes a play, the enthusiasm's off the charts. And so I think that's the one fun thing when you have that young, energetic group, is that every week they just got to bring that energy and that passion and see where they go. And I think it's a group we watch and see how they rise as the season goes. If they can stay healthy, you still got Matthew Stafford, you still got Aaron Donald, some really special football players and some young and up-and-coming guys. And then hopefully they get Cooper back, and I think they got a chance.
I mean, Cooper, one of the best players in the NFL, so a huge loss. But McVay sort of echoing your sentiment. Every time I hear him talk, he's excited about the opportunity for some of these young guys to play on a big stage. And I know you're excited about that and so many things. But let's talk about this Amazon Prime slate, okay? These Thursday nights are going to be insane. Take me through your favorites, what pops out to you, and it all kicks off next week, of course, in Philly.
Yeah, I can't wait. Vikings, Philly, come on, let's go. The rematch of last year. They had a primetime game. It didn't go very well for the Vikings, but I think they're going to want to show that with Brian Flores and their new weapons, Jordan Addison, some of those guys, they'll be a different team. So I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be exciting. And really, you look at our first three, man, especially after last night, what a special slate to start with. I mean, the Giants at the Niners, week two, week three for us. I mean, week 2 for us, week 3 for everyone else. And then Green Bay Lions. I'm excited about Baltimore and Cincinnati. It's going to be fun. And, of course, Black Friday, the first ever Black Friday game.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Jets in New York. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think our whole crew's spending the week in New York that week, bouncing around the city. So it's going to be a blast.
That's amazing. Any changes this year? Are you just going to be all over the stadium again? Like, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm going to be everywhere, Kay. You know how I do. I'm looking for a good time. Hey, listen, you already got me with all those Smirnoff ads. I'm looking for a vodka soda already. It's 9 a.m. So I'm looking forward to having a good time and having fun. That's the best part of our crew, man. We have a lot of fun and a lot of freedom to just be ourselves. And we can't wait to get back together, the traveling circus, as I say it, and get after it.
Maybe you could do a traveling barbecue thing and just have all the rookies from all the squads on Thursday night roll by. That would be quite a party with you and Melissa.
That's it. Hey, I'm in. You know what? If somebody wants to provide the barbecue, I'm in. I don't know if I can cook for that many guys. There's
the chat here on YouTube is all about wanting to have a barbecue, like a dream barbecue with Andrew Whitworth. Even though you're sitting in like a boardroom that's straight out of like a '90s movie of like an executive firing someone. Like you have like a Death Star setup over there. Business.
That's right. I got Walter back here. We're good.
Yeah. Andrew Whitworth, we so appreciate you and your analysis and your sort of allowing Juwan to do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't get caught, and you being amused by it just sort of made my day.
I love it. Hey, I just want to make the D-line mad. If I can get him a little edged, anytime I can make the D-lineman aggravated, even now in retirement, I'm happy.
That's it. Retirement-ish. We're just going to leave it there. Let's not speak in absolutes. Let's not. Bengals, I'm just saying, week 18, a nice little short-term contract. I'm into it, and I will always advocate for it. We appreciate you. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Kay. I always appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest Up and Adams content right on YouTube.